Legend of Yufei Chapter 1.
How do we really get our heads around history? I mean, is it just, dates and facts laid out? Or is it more about the stories, maybe even myths, cosmic battles, ancient grudges? Do those things shape how we see people and events? Because today, that's exactly what we're getting into a really foundational piece of classic Chinese literature, Shuo Yu Quanzhuan.
Hmm.
You might know it as The Complete Story of Yu Fei. It promises, well, quite a journey.
Yeah, and what's fascinating right from the get-go is how the text itself talks about storytelling. The authors are surprisingly open about it. They say, look, we're mixing fact and fiction here on purpose.
They just state that.
They do. They argue that too much fiction, nobody believes it, but too much dry fact, it's just dull. So their aim, as they put it, is to really pull you in, make history feel meaningful. And they do that by putting earthly events into this celestial context. It gave people a way to understand suffering, maybe find some cosmic justice when things looked bleak on the ground.
That's quite a premise for a historical epic. Okay, so let's set the scene a bit, historically speaking. We're talking about the Song Dynasty, right? A time of incredible culture, but also serious conflict.
Exactly. Huge external pressures.
And the key players here are figures everyone knows or thinks they know. Yu Fei, the loyal general, almost a symbol of loyalty, but then tragedy strikes. Then there's Qin Hui, the minister whose name is basically synonymous with betrayal, and Wu Zu, the Jurchen leader, a really formidable adversary.
Right. Those are the historical anchors. You've got the Song fighting the Jurchens, the political backstabbing that led to Yufei's execution. That's all real history. But then this text just layers something extraordinary on top.
Okay, what's a layer?
It's cosmic. The book tells us these massive events on Earth, the wars, the betrayals, heroes rising and falling, they actually start with decrees from heaven, with divine beings transforming and coming down to Earth.
Divine beings, like who?
Well, we're introduced to a red-beard dragon, a female bat spirit who sounds mischievous, and this incredibly powerful great peng bird. They all have their own backstories and mythology, and here they are sent down to play roles in human history. So it's way more than just history. It's like divine theater playing out through people.
Wow. Okay, so Shui Yu Quanzhuan isn't just recounting history, it's giving it this whole surprising celestial explanation. The ambition seems huge. The text actually says it weaves a tale where, let me get this right, grudges are intertwined, loyal and treacherous alike perish, father lost but son rises, and heroes reemerge.
That's the promise.
Get ready, because we're starting this story not on Earth, but way up in the cosmos. So on just this first chapter of Shui Yu Quanzhuan, so the text kicks off with this really vivid poem. It drops us straight into this period of, well, chaos, the 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms era.
Right, a real time of conflict.
Exactly, just before the Song Dynasty brings some stability.
Yeah.
And it immediately throws up these big themes like loyalty versus treachery.
And what's striking almost immediately is it introduces this key figure, Zhen Tan. He's also known as Master Shi.
Great.
A sort of reclusive, immortal figure, apparently famous for sleeping for extraordinary lengths of time, but clearly someone plugged into the cosmos.
Right, the sleeking immortal. And he starts things off with this incredible prophecy, doesn't he? He's riding his mule, sees some auspicious clouds, laughs, actually falls off the mule.
Which is quite the entrance.
Yeah, and shouts, "Well done! Well done! Don't say there's no true ruler in the world, 2 dragons born from one womb." So, what's going on there? What does that actually mean?
Well, it's not just a weird anecdote. It's how the text establishes the divine legitimacy of the Song Dynasty right from the get-go.
Okay.
The prophecy points directly to the birth of Zhao Kuangyin. He's the one who becomes Emperor Taizu, the founder of the Song. And he's portrayed not just as a human leader, but as a sort of manifestation, a descent of the Thunderbolt Immortal. Born with red light, this special scent, marked by destiny. And the story quickly runs through his heroic rise, unifying all these prefectures, setting up the dynasty in Banliang, and that famous yellow robe incident at Chenkao.
Right, where the troops basically force him to become emperor.
Exactly. Unexpected, but framed here as part of the plan.
So what about the 2 dragons part of that prophecy? How does that play out?
Well, that's a really interesting bit that sort of seals the deal on this preordained path for the dynasty. Taizu does something quite unusual. He doesn't pass the throne to his son. He passes it to his younger brother, Zhao Guangyi.
Oh, right. Emperor Taizong.
Exactly. And that fulfills the one womb, two dragons prophecy. It signals this, unique, divinely approved succession.
Huh.
And then the text just lists the first 8 emperors from Taizu right up to Huzong. It gives us that historical framework, but its history completely wrapped in destiny.
And then we focus in a bit on Emperor Huzong. He's described as another celestial being, the Longbrow Immortal, but living as an emperor.
Yeah, apparently very devoted to deities, even called himself the Daojun Emperor.
And his reign, initially at least, sounds like this golden age. Total peace and prosperity, horses let loose in the southern mountains, weapons stored away.
Sounds idyllic, doesn't it?
It really does. But you get the sense the text is immediately setting the stage, hinting that this earthly calm is about to face some kind of huge cosmic disruption. Celestial follies and karmic reckonings in the Buddhist realm.
And then the scene shifts quite dramatically. We're whisked away from the imperial court, all the way to the Western paradise, specifically the Great Thunder Sound Temple.
Okay, so we're in the celestial realm now.
We are. Buddha himself is there lecturing to this enormous gathering of deities. It's presented as the scene of, ultimate spiritual harmony.
And this is where things take a really unexpected turn, isn't it? Because amidst this super serious divine lecture, there's this star official, female bat, sitting below Buddha's lotus throne, and she accidentally, she lets out a sound.
Yes, an audible indiscretion, a bit of divine flatulence, essentially.
Right. A lapse in celestial manners, you could say.
You could. And while Buddha, being, greatly compassionate, doesn't seem bothered by this little impurity.
Okay.
His chief protector, this really formidable figure, the great golden-winged Peng King, he is absolutely enraged. He sees it as this defilement, this impurity.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. His eyes shoot golden light. He swoops down and just immediately pecks the female Bat Star official to death.
Wow. That's intense, swift and brutal.
It is. And it's not just a shocking moment. This violent reaction is really the spark. It kicks off this whole cascade of karmic events that are going to play out down in the mortal world.
So what are the immediate consequences? I mean, that seems like a pretty extreme reaction in paradise.
Yeah.
It definitely raises questions about cause and effect in this whole system.
It's absolutely critical for understanding how this text views destiny. The female bat spirit, it doesn't just disappear.
Right.
It flies east, finds its way to the mortal realm, and is reborn as a girl in the Wang family.
Okay.
And the text is very explicit here. She is destined to marry Qin Hui.
Qin Hui.
Sure.
The chancellor later responsible for Yu Fei's death.
The very same.
Yeah.
And the text flat out says she will harm loyal officials to repay this grudge from the Western paradise.
Whoa.
So it creates this direct, unbreakable karmic link. A seemingly minor slight, a moment of impurity in heaven, directly leads to a major antagonist and a huge historical tragedy down the line on Earth.
That's incredible. It's
Yeah.
basically saying history is being dictated from these celestial events.
Fundamentally, yes. That's the principle being laid out.
Okay, so what about the Great Peng then? Does he just get away with this sudden execution?
Oh, not at all. Buddha steps in immediately, reprimands the Peng King,
Rightly so.
and banishes him from the Western paradise, sends him down to the mortal world specifically to repay its karmic debt.
Ah, okay, so exile.
Exile, yes. And he's told he can only return to his divine form once his earthly mission, whatever that is complete.
And does he argue?
Nope. Bows to Buddha's command, immediately obeys, and flies off towards the east. So this exile isn't just punishment. It's also setting up another key piece in this larger, divinely managed plan for the mortal world. A dot, a dragon, and destiny's design.
Okay, so back on Earth now, the story swings back to Qin Tuan, our sleeping immortal friend, and his 2 immortal helpers, these boys, King Feng and Mingyu. They're playing chess. With a set, we find out that Qin Tuan actually won from Emperor Taizu himself.
Yeah, apparently he won the deed to Hua Mountain in that chess game. Quite the stakes.
No kidding. But then their game gets interrupted. They hear this huge noise.
Right.
And see this massive black cloud rolling in from the northwest, darkening the sky. They're terrified, obviously, and they rush to wake up their master, Qin Tuan.
Understandable reaction. It sounds pretty ominous.
It is. And Qin Tuan wakes up and reveals this absolutely wild reason for the disturbance. It's all because Emperor Huzong, remember him?
Yeah, the Taoist emperor.
He made this tiny mistake during a New Year's sacrifice to the Jade Emperor, the highest deity.
A mistake. What kind of mistake?
Apparently, he misdotted a single character when writing out the Jade Emperor's title. the character for Jade here.
Okay.
He messed up the dot, turning Jade Emperor into something like King Emperor Dog Emperor.
Oh.
That's not good. Calling the Jade Emperor the Dog Emperor. Seems like a cosmic faux pas of the highest order.
It sounds almost funny, but the text makes it clear the consequences are deadly serious. Yeah, I mean, in that kind of cosmology, ritual accuracy is everything, isn't it? It reflects the harmony between heaven and earth. So getting the Jade Emperor's name wrong, it's not just a typo. It's seen as this act of profound disrespect, something that disrupts the divine order itself. And that demands serious payback.
So what happens?
The Jade Emperor is, well, furious, understandably. And he commands this entity, the red-bearded dragon, to descend to Earth, specifically to the northern Jurchen kingdom.
Okay, the Jurchens, who historically did invade the Song.
Exactly. And this dragon's mission, according to the text, is to invade China, mess up the Song dynasty, and cause immense suffering, all because of that misplaced dot. It really highlights how even tiny human errors are believed to have these massive divine ripple effects.
But then Chen Tuan reveals this amazing twist, right? So something that connects everything back together.
Yes, this is where the brilliance of the narrative structure really shows. Chen Tuan explains that Buddha, anticipating this, knowing the red-bearded dragon was coming and fearing it would just run rampant, had already sent the great golden-winged peng bird, our recently banished friend, down to the mortal world, precisely to protect the Song dynasty. For its entire predicted lifespan, 18 emperors.
Wow, so it's like a celestial checks and balances system.
Exactly. It's this grand, interlocking, divine plan. One god's angry dragon is countered by another god's banished protector bird. Everything is connected, the descent and further karmic entanglements. So Chen Tuan, with his immortal sight, basically follows the Great Peng's journey after it leaves the Western Paradise. He watches it fly down towards Earth.
And where does he go?
It flies straight to the legendary Nine Ben Yellow River, a place steeped in myth already.
Okay. And does it just land? Or is there more drama?
And there's more drama. Almost immediately, it encounters another interesting character, the iron-backed horned Dragon King.
Another dragon.
Yeah, and apparently he's the third son of a dragon that was previously killed by another famous immortal, Xu Xinjun. So there's history there. And this dragon is currently disguised as a scholar, just kind of hanging out, playing with his, aquatic army minions.
Right, as you do. Completely unaware of the giant divine bird heading his way.
Seems so. But the Great Peng, with its divine vision, sees right through the disguise, instantly recognizes the demonic nature, swoops down incredibly fast, pecks out the dragon's left eye.
Ouch. Just like that.
Just like that. Sends the dragon fleeing in agony back into the river. But crucially, this isn't just a random monster fight. It's another piece falling into place in the karmic puzzle.
And I bet there's even more karma linked to this specific encounter, isn't there? Seems to be the pattern.
You bet. Because a turtle demon described as bold but foolish tries to step up and challenge the Great Peng after it attacks the dragon.
Oh, brave turtle.
Yeah.
Or perhaps not so wise.
Not so wise, no. The Peng kills it instantly, just completely overmatched.
Okay. So another casualty. Does that mean anything?
It means everything in this story.
Yeah.
Because the text explicitly tells us that this turtle demon's spirit is reborn as Mo Kixi.
Isn't he one of the officials who helps Qin He frame Yu Fei? The one involved in his death at Fengbo Pavilion.
Precisely. That's him. So this reinforces that core idea again. These initial celestial clashes, these mythical encounters, they aren't just background color. They are literally the blueprints for the major historical events and the really bitter rivalries that are going to shape the fate of the Song dynasty.
Every little divine squabble has an echo down on Earth.
Every single one seems to.
And Chen Tuan is watching all of this unfold.
He is, and he makes this rather sad observation musing this beast, referring maybe to the Peng or the cycle itself, even after falling into tribulation, still commits violence. This cycle of vengeance, when will it end? It's quite poignant.
Yeah, it adds a layer of commentary on the whole thing.
Definitely. Then he watches as the Great Peng finally finishes its descent, lands on a rooftop somewhere in Jiangsu in Henan province, and just sort of vanishes into its mortal destiny, presumably.
Okay. End of the journey for now.
For the Peng's visible journey, yes. But not for Chen Tuan. Ever the investigator, he decides he needs to know more. So he transforms himself into an old Taoist priest and heads off to Shangzhou to inquire further, which perfectly sets up whatever comes next in the story.
With a really personal moment, a long-awaited baby in the Yu family, We meet Yu He and his wife, Yaxi, and the text makes a point of telling us Yu He is nearly 50. And this is their first son. You can imagine, right? For a couple that age back then, having their first son, I mean, the joy must have been immense. They had prayed for this child. The whole house is celebrating.
Oh, absolutely. And that context is crucial. It really underlines why everything that happens next is so important. In traditional Chinese society, especially for, an older couple, getting a male heir wasn't just happy news. It was culturally, paramount. It meant the family line continues, ancestors get worshipped, it's seen as a blessing. So this very personal joy sets this powerful, almost you could say, fated stage.
Right, fated. So just as they're caught up in all this happiness, someone unexpected arrives at their estate, the family estate. It's a Taoist priest. And we find out later he's actually someone important. Chen Tuan, old ancestor, but he's in disguise. And the first thing that happens is pretty mundane, actually. The Taoist just asks for some food, but the gatekeeper turns him down flat, says the house is busy with the birth, and this seems key. It's considered impure. He uses terms like yubek, the kitchen's unclean, and mentions the birthing room. This impurity idea around childbirth, it feels like a major hurdle. What did that actually mean back then? Why was the gatekeeper's reaction sort of normal?
That's a really important point. This idea of impurity, sometimes called blood pollution or alo, was deeply embedded in traditional thinking. Childbirth was seen as this powerful, maybe even volatile event. It could, contaminate sacred areas or even bother spirits. So usually the mother and child and maybe the whole household needed a period of separation, purification rituals, that sort of thing. The gatekeeper, he was just following the rules, really. Totally understandable in that context.
Okay, but the Taoist doesn't just accept that. He keeps insisting, saying Yu Yan. He says, there's a connection, a kind of fate between them.
Oh, that word carries huge weight here. It's not just, we bumped into each other. It's like the story's engine. It signals that these people have to interact. Destiny is pulling them together, pushing past those cultural rules. It tells you right away this isn't random, it's meant to be. Really points to that fatalistic worldview in the story.
So the gatekeeper goes back and tells Yu He, but Yu He himself is hesitant at first. He's worried about bringing zhuguo, like sin or misfortune, on himself and the baby, because of the whole impure situation. It's actually the gatekeeper who changes his mind. He argues for hospitality, points out they're in the middle of nowhere. Yu Kim, a wild village with no inn. Where else can the guy go? And he even uses a proverb, Ching. Basically, spending money on charity won't bring you bad luck. It's a fascinating clash, isn't it? Ritual purity versus, basic human kindness.
Exactly. You see this tension play out, the strict rules of ritual purity bumping up against this broader idea of charity, of compassion. And it's the Taoists' persistence, combined with the gatekeeper's practical argument, look where we are, that finally wins Yu He over. The story makes sure this destined meeting happens, despite the initial resistance, there's a higher purpose driving it.
So he goes out to meet the Taoist, and his first impression is pretty striking. The description is oolong, which translates roughly to crane-white hair, a childlike face, and clear, refined bones. That's not just saying what he looks like, is it? It sounds like a classic description.
Oh, definitely. It's a standard way in Chinese literature to signal someone extraordinary, almost otherworldly. It implies immense wisdom, maybe long life, spiritual depth. You immediately know this isn't just some random wandering priest. He's special.
And then this special priest makes a pretty bold request. He wants to see the newborn baby. He says he needs to check for guan sha, which he calls barriers or misfortunes, and he wants to enlever, or remove or resolve them. Okay, what are these guan sha, and how could someone like this Taoist just resolve them?
Right.
Yeah.
These were thought of as specific hurdles or tough times a child might face in life, maybe connected to their birth chart, or even things passed down from ancestors like karma. And someone skilled, like a Taoist master, was believed to have the spiritual power to, intervene, to smooth things out, remove those barriers, make the child's path more auspicious. It's like trying to tweak destiny a bit.
But yeah, he's still worried. He brings up the bloodlight, that impurity from the birth to filing the gods in heaven. And Taoist solution is, it's kind of amazing. He says, just hold an umbrella over the baby. He claims this simple act will prevent any defilement and, get this, make all evil spirits flee. An umbrella, seriously.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Something so everyday, an umbrella for rain or sun, gets elevated here. It becomes this powerful symbolic shield. It's not just physical protection, it's spiritual protection against unseen negative forces. It really shows how practical objects could take on deep symbolic meaning. A really interesting mix of, well, practicality and spiritual belief.
So they bring the baby out, shielded by the umbrella. The Taoist takes a look, seems impressed, praises the baby's appearance, and then he offers to give the child a name. Now, this feels like more than just a nice gesture, right? What does it mean in this context for a figure like him to bestow a name?
You're absolutely right. It's way more than just being polite. When a revered figure like this Taoist gives a name, it's like he's embedding a destiny into the child. It's a kind of spiritual stamp of approval. It connects the child's identity directly to this predicted path of greatness. It's not just naming, it's like shaping fate itself.
And the names he chooses are clearly significant. The given name is Fei, that means to fly, and the courtesy name is Peng Zhu. That refers to the Peng, this mythical giant bird known for flying incredible distances.
Wow.
Yes. And the insight here isn't just that they're lucky names, it's that the author is basically writing the hero's destiny right into his name at birth. It's a powerful narrative tool. The Taoist even says it outright. The baby's future is Sikhe, a future of 10,000 leaves soaring far and high. It screams from day one, this kid is destined for something huge. It's the ultimate foreshadowing baked right into his identity.
And Yuedi and his wife, naturally, are thrilled. These are incredibly auspicious names. Okay, so the Taoist is getting ready to leave. He briefly mentions a traveling companion who went off somewhere else. And then the scene ends on this really strange, enigmatic note. He steps out into the courtyard, spots Kuyu, just 2 items, and exclaims, "Good." That feels abrupt. Is it just a random detail, or does this little good over 2 mystery items mean something more?
Oh, it definitely means more. It seems random, but it's immediately linked to the very last lines of the chapter. Those lines talk about future turmoil. Jiameng, within Shangzhou City, floods and chaos. Within Nehuang County, heroes will gather. So those 2 items, and the good, they're symbols, direct foreshadowing of the trouble and the heroism to come. This whole birth scene, right down to this cryptic ending, it's all setting the stage for the epic story. It shows the baby's life is tied to these big historical events. The good isn't just about the items, it's about how they fit into this unfolding destiny.
It's really quite something how much they pack into this single episode, this birth story. You've got fate, purity rituals, destiny, all wrapped up in this mysterious visit. It leaves you wondering what's next.